It's 10:35. I was looking around for a clock. I have this little clock. It's very cute. Right now it's 10:35, but this clock says that it's 10:46. So I would have to do a little math to use this clock, so I kind of don't use it anymore. And it's really hard to change the battery. Adam can do it. You have to take the face off because there's no other opening. I had to open up my laptop to find out what time it was. I was like, because I usually use my phone. And I was like, where's my stinking phone? Well, I'm looking at my phone. I'm recording on my phone, so I can't check the time. I have another clock in my house that it doesn't work at all. It's just pretty. And so it always has the wrong time. I have another clock in my house that is intermittently bad. It has a battery that works and doesn't work. And so it's about 45 minutes off, kind of, give or take. Slow. And then the clock in my bedroom that I used, when I get in the middle of the night, it's lit and stuff. It's about an hour and a half slow. It's terrible. The only clock that works fairly normally in our house is the one that's on the stove. But if you're cooking or if you have the timer on, you can't use it. We have a real clock issue, and I need to get that in hand. If any of y'all are like this, it's terrible. Anyway, so I just spent an hour or so cleaning the Dependency, as we now call it. Have to remember that word. And that was a little exhausting for me. I guess I'm getting to an age or a weight or something where that's a little bit much. But it looks good. I'm really excited. So I didn't sleep that well last night. I woke up. See, this is the thing. I woke up and the clock said 11:14, which means it was really 12:45. Or so, and my mind is groggy at that time of night. And then I was awake for a couple of hours. That's how it goes with me. You can call that first sleep, and then you have a little break, and then finally, I, after much knitting on my new sweater, I was tired enough to go back to sleep, and did fall asleep eventually, and slept till about 7, I think. Again, I would have had to done math, and I was not up to it. And that's very late for me. Usually I'm up at 5:30, 6 at the latest. So I got a late start. As promised, YouTube friends, this is going to be a short video about the little house, or the Dependency, as we sometimes call it. I promised I would catch you up on where we are on that project. It has slowed down a lot because of the cold weather. And Adam has very limited time. He really only has Saturdays if the weather is good and he feels well enough. But here's what's happened so far. Hey friends, I'm on my way over to see what Adam is doing this morning at the little house. But I thought I'd show you what our fig tree is doing to our ramp. It is about half obscuring the walkway, but we'll be trimming that back in a little bit. The noise you hear in the background also is this big farm over here behind our chicken coop. You can see some of their buildings right there. And they have cut down the corn, as I showed you, and they are drying it out. Okay, so now we're going to go see what Adam is up to at the little house. Now, as you recall, the door was in good shape. But the frame was in terrible shape. Oh, here it is on the ground, I think. Here's some of the ends of that door frame. Very rotted and dried out. Oh yeah, see, there's another piece over there. See that right there? So Adam has stripped all that down, taken the door out, and he's going to rebuild that frame all the way around. But let's look inside and see what he's been doing. He's got my storage closet finished. We got a very lovely big drafting desk given from a friend, and he's gone ahead and put that in there. And there's the Christmas tree down there. He's framed around this window, and I think that looks great. He's finished up the drywall on, this is the east wall. That's the south wall. He's going to put that frame around, and he's also decided to do a little bit more drywall on this wall. Every bit we do gives us more insulation, makes the room tighter, and that is the west wall. And since this is a hot place, we really want insulation on the hot side. This is the north wall, which is still cement block. And this is an ongoing project. He'll work on that later. So today he's working on the door. He's getting excited about how finished the room is looking. He's done the mudding and sanding, and now we just really need to paint, and he'll put the trim up. Alright, so here's the inside of the little house. Adam has done so much work in here, and he's cleaned up this morning. This is the west facing wall. He's leaving this panel open to do some more electrical work, but he went ahead and put insulation and sheetrock on that wall. This is the new south facing wall with 2 windows, and he's trimmed these windows out. We'll be painting all this, of course, so these little paint splatters won't matter, but and look how deep the windowsills are. Isn't that nice? This is the shovel he had to bring in order to clean up in here. It was pretty rough. And we've got a futon. The futon cushion is outside. It was pretty messy. We'll have to do a lot more cleaning. But there's the futon for resting. And then this is a big drafting table that a friend gave us. And it's an antique. It is just gorgeous. It took up too much space in her condo, and it really does fill up this space, but he's going to really use that. He does a lot of reading, studying, lots of writing. Here's the storage closet, and I'm excited about, I'd love to eventually put some shelving in there and really use that. Here's the little closet, which is full of our daughter's stuff, and then on the north wall we have a little dresser that we'll probably have a lamp on it or something. It's a very useful piece. All right, so I am so proud of this place. It looks clean, organized, and we probably have some donated carpeting and padding that we're going to be able to put on the floor for even better insulation under the feet. It is such a gorgeous morning. The high today is only supposed to be 78 degrees because we had a storm pass through that lowered our temperatures. It was the remnants of Hurricane Ida, and it brought in some cool weather. It's overcast, feels lovely. So I thought this was a great day to come clean in the little house. So this is what we have out here so far. This is a rug that we've had for years. It belonged to our son when he was a kid, and it's still hanging around. There's that lovely drafting table. That window right there is probably the most important new addition to this room, this building, because it brings in tons of light. It used to be a solid door that was awful, and now it's a beautiful window. We decided to put the table over here because no matter who's out here, whether they're visiting or staying or whatever, having light on that table for writing or drawing, painting is good. And so we put the futon over here, and this futon was falling apart. Adam finally put some new screws into it so that it would hold together. And I spent a lot of time vacuuming this futon pad this morning because it was covered with drywall dust. The one thing I still need to do is come stitch up this corner. I'm not sure why it's open, but I need to get some needle and thread and do that. The windows are looking really pretty. There's such a nice deep sill, and if anybody ever stayed out here any amount of time, that would be lovely to put things up there. I haven't yet worked on my storage closet. It's now that table's out of there, it's kind of empty though. This is a little heater. I've got another little heater that can go out here in the wintertime. There's some insulation still. There's a Christmas tree. There's no light in here right now. That's a decorative piece that Julia painted years ago. This is the opening to the stack. I guess he used to have a heater out here. You know, there are places like right up there where I can see daylight through those bricks. Not great. But there is electricity that Adam ran out here. There's probably a couple of different outlets. And this is the clothes closet. Adam suggested we could turn it into a little bathroom with a composting toilet. Right now it's full of all of Julia's stuff, our daughter. plus some old window panes that we need to move somewhere else. That big mirror needs to go up. That's a very large mirror, and this is a full-length mirror. And he already has a clothes hanging rod that he's going to put in here. So this will be a nice little area for clothes. I don't know if it'll ever be a toilet. That sounds kind of scary. And here's the dresser. I've wiped everything down today. I vacuumed everything and tried to make it as clean as I can. Adam is going to try to get his hands on some wall-to-wall carpeting with a pad underneath to put out here. He thinks that would be also good insulation and easier on the feet. So anyway, it's really looking very nice. He did a good job on the drywall. We still have to paint. Adam did such a nice job on this door frame. It is heavy and solid, and now at last we can use the deadbolt. And the door has a nice tight fit. It's so much better than it used to be. It used to be barely a door. Adam made himself a screen door to go on the Dependency. This is a great idea because it'll allow him to leave the main door open, and then he can also have the dogs in there and they won't be able to escape. And it gives him much better ventilation to have a cross breeze from the windows. It's not very fancy. It needs a handle. Couldn't really get it open, but I think it'll help him a lot. I'm real proud of him. He made that from scrap wood and leftover screen. It's been a while since I've taken you inside what we call the Dependency, the little house. This is kind of an alternate extra bedroom, that kind of thing. Our daughter uses it right now when she's home. But I wanted to show you the latest progress, which is mostly up on the ceiling. Adam is putting these thin pieces here. And then he's bought, I don't know, maybe that's 1/2 inch raw wood. And he's putting up this ceiling because this old ceiling is just very thin, cheap stuff. It was always meant to be temporary. And so our daughter helped him. He cut it to length and she screwed it in. And then it stayed in here, and he realized it started to have gaps because he hadn't put the wood into the room, the building, first and let it dry out. So the other day he came back in, took all this section down, squished it up against the wall better, and there was about 1.5 inches total of gapping that he closed up. He's got the rest of the wood now. I think it's over in the little closet, and it's going to stay in here and dry out, and then he'll finish the ceiling, which I think is going to look great. Has a rustic look. It's really what I would like to have in the kitchen as well one of these days. So he's put, I don't remember what I showed you before, how finished it was. This is the north wall, which now has solid plywood and sheetrock on this end. The only part that's still block is this strip behind the door and this strip here where he needs to do some electrical work. But otherwise, the west wall, she loves these hilarious political signs, people's funny names. So that's the west wall. This is the south wall with the windows. She likes those LED lights. And the east wall. And it still needs painting and stuff, but it's very cozy and warm in here. Good sunlight. We're making good use of that long storage closet. So it's coming along much, much better. It's very, even though it's unfinished now, it's much, much more comfortable. She's pretty happy to be over here. So here is, so far, the semi-finished Dependency with this ongoing new ceiling. A really, really great and inexpensive ceiling option. Much, much better than that. All right.